Yes. Tom Duffy. John Righeimer.
Here.
Stacy Hessel.
Here.
Brian Bissonette.
Here.
Chris Rusk.
Here.
You have a quorum. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This meeting has been noticed to the public and the news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Good morning. I'm here, but I'm also going to introduce you to Kevin again here in a minute. But I wanted to just thank you for passing the budget. I got the contract signed from Andy on Thursday, and we'll be moving forward with our support staff and creating some efficiencies across county lines. And so that position will be posted hopefully this week. So that will be new for us, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to have a little better support maybe for extension. So thank you. And I don't want to take more time because I want you to have time with Kevin today. So as you know, Kevin doesn't come all the time. I don't have educators come and report to you every month, but he comes a couple times a year maybe. And so sit back, relax. It's going to take a few minutes, but he does have some information to share with you this morning.
Thank you so much, Lori. This is a brand new setting for me. This is really different from what I've experienced. For those of you who maybe don't know me really well, I've been in this position going on, this is my 25th year at the Spooner Ag Research Station, serving Burnett, Washburn, and Sawyer counties. And you've heard my shtick before, and I hope you had a chance to at least take a peek at the report that I included in my activities here. But not a lot has changed as far as the priorities and my outreach and education this past year. Of course, we're always adapting to new things that come up. And I still work in the areas of agriculture and horticulture, but I tend to work more in this area I call local foods, working with smaller farmers. And in my report, you'll see that I'm continuing to highlight the Spooner Ag Research Station property as a place where I can do some of that outreach and continue to partner with that facility, of course. Not that you're going to have a lot of time with my stuff I brought today, but I do have a display in the back that highlights the teaching and display garden, which is our outdoor classroom that I use for various activities throughout the growing season. There's also a panel on there that talks about our seed to kitchen organic vegetable trial, which has been on the station for about since 2017. In the back is a box of squash. And have anybody heard of I can't even say it, a CSA box? Community Supported Agriculture. So these are small farms that are typically vegetable growers, and they put together a box according to the seasonal produce that's coming out of their commercial gardens, and people buy a share in the farm, and for the growing season, they get this box of produce delivered once a week, right? So it's called a CSA, Community Supported Agriculture. I've taken a little twist on that with these organic variety trials at the station and the teaching and display garden. We produce a substantial quantity of food. Our primary objective has always been research and outreach, right? So the research comes first on the plot. So we get the data, all that information goes back to Madison, and then we share that out after it's been statistically analyzed. All that research method stuff, which is very important so we can make informed decision. So with this squash, this is part of a storage, and flavor is the primary two things they're looking for. If we're going to support local foods, we have to have varieties that are suited to our short growing season. Thus, we're doing this at Spooner. And two, it better taste good. And three, storage. It's one of the few crops that we can take into storage and hold for more than 2 weeks, right? So that's a challenge with local foods, and it's always been that way. And the further north you get, it becomes more of a challenge. So we have ways around that, of course, and growing certain crops that are adapted to our short season, and storage is one. So this box of squash is part of that variety trial, and we harvest hundreds and hundreds of these squash. When the project is all done, they're given to me to do my outreach. So this is where I came up with the concept of a free SA box. Little pun there, right? Free, no numbers, free will. It's offered to whoever I can reach out to do my outreach. My primary audience is our FoodWise educators. You know about them, I hope. So FoodWise does nutrition education. So why not provide them with real, local, nutritious, fresh foods for their clients so they can experience that? Because how many people who are on FoodWise clients list go to the farmer's market or garden and have access? So this is a tiny bit of produce that I can give to our FoodWise educators to at least let their clients experience some of this fresh produce. Food shelves are certainly part of that. The outreach that comes with food shelves isn't as high as when you go direct to the educators. The next place I do this is with the schools. So most schools, not all, have family and consumer education teachers that teach cooking and nutrition, right? It's the old home ec back when I was in school. Not every school has a dedicated teacher, but I've done my best to reach out to them. They're very busy. They have different schedules. Sometimes they don't do cooking in the fall, so my free SA box isn't ideal, but I still give them the opportunity to do that. So this box right here is going to LCO school. I have another box just like it that's going to the LCO free store. So again, another way I can just at least gift some of this to the communities I work in. Now, granted, I work for Burnett, Washburn, Sawyer. So the 5,000 pounds of produce that we have doesn't go very far, but I do my best to get it out. So this is all part of my creative way to do outreach with the produce because I have access to it. Why wouldn't I, right? So the teachers get a description of all the different types of squash so they at least can explain that to their students. Not all teachers are up on different horticulture, certainly some of the unique varieties we have. And they are unique because they're more the heirloom ones that do well in storage that you typically don't find in the seed catalogs. So they'll get the description. And then again, working with our FoodWise educators, we have recipes and a little bit of activities and a little more outreach education that comes with how to cook and use all the different types of squash, all right? So this is the least I can do is to provide them with some of our outreach materials. So I'm going to just quickly show you. We also do potatoes. So there's a bag of purple potatoes here, but that's a whole other project that we're doing with the kids. But some of these really odd looking things, diversity is what it's all about. People, we need to grow more diverse fruit, eat more diverse foods. This will keep at least 3 to 4 months. Right? It's called a Blackfoot sweet. The longest storage squash we have is called an iron helmet. I wonder why. It will store 6 to 8 months in proper dark cool storage. So at least we have an opportunity to find a small place, in your apartment or in your basement or something you can't freeze. But this is another one that's called a Tetsukutu, which is a hybrid of Japanese origin. Been around for about 50 years. Nobody really knows about it. This is called Bluebell. It's a little faded. These are all like Hubbard type, butternut, buttercup. This is your classic butternut. This is maybe the best, but this is a mini butternut. I think most people are familiar with this. This is the same type of squash, different shape, but it's got better storage, and these are sweet and delicious. I've eaten them all, so I think they're very appropriate to So just like I said, lots of different varieties. This is a delicata and whatnot. So that's what's going on with my little box of squash here. And this past year, I'm gonna just quickly pass this around. This is the old founder. That produce was distributed in 2022. It's just a little snapshot. It changes every year depending on the partners and who I reach out to. But I think you'll see there's some, I try to get it in the 3 columns as best I can. The last thing I'm going to end with here is pollinators and pollinator habitat. University, as you know, it's got lots of specialists, lots of people working in different industries around food. I'm an example of local food. Anybody heard of cranberries? And cranberries are important in Swift County. There is a whole program the university works with cranberries on, and for a long time, cranberry growers would bring in honeybees. Got to pollinate the crop. We know that without pollination, we won't have all kinds of food. So pollinators are important to that crop, you bet. So for a long time, and it's still common practice, but this is where it's like with a little research and some observations, it's like, there are other pollinators that can do the same thing besides honeybees. Honeybees are very, very specialized. They make honey, they're a non-native, actually, but they get all the glory. There are dozens and dozens of other small bees, stingless bees that do pollination, and they are super important because you don't have to bring them in, you just have to provide the habitat. So this is a very common one. Sweat bee. Talk about one outside of the room, 300 pollinators, and I developed and we put these out in the spray on. The second step of these until we use them. How we use them. It's all about how we it's not it's a niche, but we can still do it. So I'm going to end there. The rest of my report deals with the Northwest Grazers Network, which is another network of farmers that work on raising their livestock to produce mostly meat, right? The beef, sheep, goats, pigs, and chickens are the primary crop. So, any questions, comments? I always say it's there. It's open to the public there in the research station and the display garden. If you're ever in the area, just peel off 53, like 4 miles down Highway 7. You're thinking about schooner, and maybe you want to. If I'm there, I'd be happy to take you some more. So, all right. Mm-hmm.
It's always so fun when Kevin comes to visit, isn't it? We get free stuff. And anyway, I also want to thank you guys for passing the budget and including Hayward Lakes, because we are going to continue to market this area. So I kind of did a little follow-up or kind of what we've been up to the last month. We still realize how important ATVing is. but things are starting to get more expensive. So we decided instead of having atvhayward.com all by itself, we now moved that whole page and all that information onto haywardlakes.com. So we can still advertise ATV Hayward, but it's going to be directed to Hayward Lakes page. It just saves us some money in maintenance and monthly bills. Discover Wisconsin was here in October, and we had a premiere party that was at the Park Center or Park Theater, which was a lot of fun. This snowmobile friendly community designation was, that was awarded earlier this year, but I just wanted to bring it up because right now this is the season. Just remind everybody, thanks to Kathy and the Snowmobile Alliance, Snowmobile and ATV Alliance for getting that application in. Our vacation guides were delivered actually last Thursday, the 30th. And we lowered the number of vacation guides because we've been seeing a trend. People aren't asking so much for the actual guide anymore. They're looking at it online. Travel Wisconsin. So Travel Wisconsin is a big, huge site for the state, and we help keep all that current. So, and we have to go in there once a year. Otherwise they'll put them on hold or put them on pending. And so it's kind of a big project for us because it's the whole county that we take care of. We got a couple new co-op opportunities with the Department of Tourism, which we haven't got to do yet, but we're very excited about getting to try. Sport shows. We just kicked off our sport show season, and Stacy was very kind to volunteer, and I feel bad that we weren't prepared for how exciting this sport show was. We haven't even given out, we've been giving out about 250 guides at a show, and Stacy gave out 150 in the first couple hours. So they wanted them, and so there might be a new trend now that we're maybe not ready for. I don't know, because we did just decrease the number of guides we ordered, but so that's awesome. We appreciate it. So we're starting that season, and then Destination Wisconsin. So I'll be down in Madison on January 17th for legislative and lobby days. Those are our representatives and senators and stuff, and we actually go to them and we're in their offices, and they really like that. So I always look forward to that every year. And then there's a couple little free PR that I just made you aware of. So any questions? How do I come up with the cost? So what we pay for is just the cost of the rental of the show. So we pay, it can be anywhere from $500 to $900 for your spot. It's usually a 10 by 10 spot. If you want a corner spot, it's a little more expensive. And then, so we pay for that, and we cover the electricity, and we cover the insurance. But then we get volunteers, and then it's really on their dime to pay for their lodging and their food, their gas. But they get to sell their business. Yes, we're still getting volunteers. You know what? The Northwest Sports Show in Minneapolis is very, very popular. That's probably the most. Madison's always good too. Madison loves us, or loves coming to our booth. But I've been here for 20 years, and we've been going to some of these shows for at least 20 years because they were going before I got here. So, and as long as we get volunteers, we'll keep plugging along. But it was a challenging year to get volunteers. We were to get for this Oshkosh show. This was, we were. We just kicked off the season. Last year, we heard a lot of people just weren't as interested in going to shows. You know, the Department of Tourism, they scaled back a little bit on shows. They're going to more specialized shows, like they might go for a sporting event, trying to sell and to get people to come to Wisconsin with their event. But they are kind of going away from just the average DMO sports show, which is Destination Marketing Organization. So I don't know. We don't know. But we started off really well, and I hope, we'll be more prepared for the next one.
Just offer. I used to do the sports show circuit back in the day, and like 10 years ago, they thought these shows were going to roll up and die because of the internet, but people's pay to go to these shows, and they've continued to be popular. I think people want that interaction of being able to talk to somebody, and they fill up their bag full of stuff and you assume they read it, but I think it's still it's an activity event for people to go to and learn about an area. Some of these shows used to be like Milwaukee used to be 2 weeks long. Some of them used to be longer, but I think there's still a means to communicate a message about your area. And like Stacy said, everybody's got a cab on their nose. They want to tell you about the last trip, but I think that's another opportunity to sell them on returning to the area.
Yes.
The shows, people pay to get into the show.
I'll just tell you, there was the sheriff had to come, not because of me, but because of the line was backed up 1.5 miles for this show before it even started on Friday, and then it just didn't stop. It was constant Friday and Saturday. I think it was $10 to get in, and then you have to pay for all your food and beverages. But the vendors have deals, so that's most people go to buy their equipment because they will get a expo deal. It goes to the Wisconsin Ice Fishing Expo, so then they can put more of these on. So
Well,
there's a
they
circuit.
have like seminars, like Tom Bully was there.
yeah.
So they're offering other things. Once you pay the $10 to get in, you could go watch an ice fishing seminar. They might have entertainment, music, different things like that. And then do you have to pay for parking too? Oh, good. Yeah, it's just another way to reach another group of people. Okay. Yep.
I think Adam will be introducing himself, our new economic development director.
Hi, good morning. A couple weeks on the job. So the very first thing I had to learn is acronyms. There's so many different things that are going on that I had to try to wrap my head around. So a couple weeks, I'm going to give you guys kind of an overview of what I'm thinking based on what I've observed so far with EDC. I'm analyzing and talking to people, but one of the big things I'm looking at right now is talking to businesses about just education. What do we do? What is our role? And are there sponsorship opportunities for them? The other thing is talking with Andy, getting an incubator program for entrepreneurs, a place for them to start growing. So hopefully that they can expand and develop some roots in Sawyer County. And that's one of the big things that we're looking at. I've talked to Superior and some other places that do really well running these programs. And I think we have a lot of opportunity here in Sawyer County to help people get started. And they run their program. It's actually cash flowing for the county. So they do a really good job. They're a bigger demographics and stuff like that. But I think at the end of the day, it would be good for our citizens. And then we're always working, on housing solutions. And that's obviously a constant thing. And it's been an interesting educational piece for me to think about and talk about. And hopefully at a later time, I'll come with more solutions than I have anything else. But right now, it's just a learning process for me after a couple of weeks on the job. So there's a lot to do. There's no questions.
I'm not asking you a question. I'm asking you, could you say who you are and your background for the people that don't know you?
Good call.
Thank you.
One jump ahead. Adam Lamori. And I've been teaching. I was a teacher in Hayward for 17 years, and I currently own a concession business in Hayward. So I'm the fried food guy, carny man, and I've owned some real estate, and I used to be the owner of a winery in Polk County. So my background is entrepreneurship. My background is education. I'm looking forward to working with the schools and utilizing our students as a workforce. My main goal is keeping the talent that we have instead of losing it. And I think we have a lot of opportunities for kids. But as you guys maybe remember when you graduated, you don't really know what you want to do. You don't really have those experiences until you get out in the real world. So if we can make some connections between the workforce and the school district, from everything from work experience to helping with childcare, those are some major things that we can do confidently, I think. Did I cover any other questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, you said an incubator for entrepreneurship is.
Yeah.
Now I hear that. My assumption is, I mean, maybe you don't know yet, but is there what is the opportunity for that here? I'm assuming it's retail, tourism,
Good
but
question.
beyond tourism and retail, is there an opportunity you think?
Well, and it was interesting. And I asked that same question. What is the most popular requested type of business area? And theirs was commercial kitchen. They're by far and away, he said, the most requested thing is commercial kitchen. And then they have manufacturing, which I think would be way farther down the road just based on cost and infrastructure. But office space was still in demand. And they would do, basically, they just rent out their kitchen by the hour is how that worked. But that would be after they had provided proof of insurance, all the health classes and all that type of thing. But office space, retail space, and that commercial kitchen was number one, which I was kind of blown away by. Yeah.
If you work with the school, we just developed a culinary kitchen in our high school. So it'd be nice if we could connect the community with that space if they needed it.
Right. Especially knowing how expensive commercial kitchens are to create and how many hours that one would, it'd be nice to be able to utilize that. Absolutely. So it'd be cool stuff. Any other questions?
Adam, could you just stop and see me before you leave? I can cut.
You bet.
All right. It's hard to believe we're already at the end of another year, but we thank you for your continued support of the libraries and the budget for sure. Some things going on at the library. Currently, we're doing our book giving tree program. It's at no cost to the library. It's 100% funded by community donors and organizations, but to get books into the hands of children that are requesting books. So we have parents, grandparents, children requesting a book for Christmas. And so we have a tree set up in our library with tags on it of books that they've requested. We have wonderful donors, so every request is fulfilled usually by the end of next week. So I think this year is our highest year. We have 146 book requests from local youth. So that's pretty exciting. Just one opportunity to, like I said, get books in the hands of youth. Our Strong Bodies program that we work with UW Food Extension Foodwise, the senior strength training or strength exercise program ends December 21st. I just got word last Thursday that they're going to offer the program again beginning in January for 8 weeks this time. So January and February. And that's highly attended at the library. Our kids club is our Friday after school programming because the local school district programming in winter only is Monday through Thursday. So there was a need for a place for youth to go to on Fridays while parents are working. That's been popular. They're going to be decorating cookies. We always have our Patron Appreciation Day the Wednesday before Christmas, where we have an open house in the library, and we offer desserts and just a way for community members to come in and check out the library. And we have door prizes. Well, the youth at Kids Club are going to be decorating the cookies this year, so I think that's going to be fun. We did apply for and were accepted for a PBS Learning Grant. So we're in the 2024 cohort with PBS. So that's exciting. That is going to be a lot of professional development, but then also with that, you get access to a huge bank of resources that we can use for youth programming. I'll know more about it in January is our first meeting as a cohort, but it's building up that network to educational, research-based educational resources. This month, I'll be working on applying for a grant for STEM science kits. I did it last year. I never heard back whether we got it or not, so I put an inquiry in, and they received the grant, but nobody reviewed the grant. So I think it got lost in the shuffle. So they said reapply this year. So I'm working on reapplying again, and that's due in January, where we can get STEM science kits into the library and families can check them out and do the science projects at home. I also plan on utilizing that during our science nights at the library once a month. And of course, teachers from the school district can also use those in their classrooms. I think that about sums up where we're at. On the back of my report, I just included statistics for circulation for 2022 and 2023. When I created this report, we didn't have the November statistics posted yet on there. So do you have any questions? Okay, so what do you mean? Like, how can they donate to it, or? We usually get about $1,200 to $1,300. Well, this year it's 146 right now. The request for books ends at the end of this week, but normally it's about 120 to 140 books every year, and whatever money we have that, so people can come in and purchase, ornament off of the tree. They get an ornament off the tree, and it says what the title of the book is, how much it costs. Some people and organizations just give a flat outright donation, maybe $20, $50, whatever. If there's carryover, it stays with the program, the Book Giving Tree program only. So there's carryover from year to year sometimes. Oh, they keep those books. Yes. No, okay, so Strong Bodies is actually not something we develop or create. It's UW Extension FoodWise. They do the food part. You probably heard Kevin talk about that, but they also do senior strength exercise programs. You might have heard Silver Sneakers. Well, UW Extension has Strong Bodies, which is a virtual exercise program that you can participate in. Who leads that? That would be UW Extension colleagues lead it that are part of educators. Are they? Yeah, I was gonna say, are they considered educators? Bridget maybe come next. Yeah. So they come and they lead it. So what the library does is, because of streaming issues that there are and technology issues, not necessarily that they don't have technology, but sometimes some of our community members aren't comfortable with technology. So they come to the library and participate. So we offer a screen and we offer the streaming plugging into the UW Extension FoodWise program. So the library doesn't lead it. We are just an avenue to provide it to the community. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. We're also very grateful for the budget passing. We do have a lot of things going on at the library this month. We always have the take and make kits. You can read this. Tonight, we're going to have John Detloff talk about his new book, Whispers of the Past. So welcome you guys to come out there. And then, of course, we have our Lego Club, our monthly Lego Club. We offer 2 different times. And then we have a tween and teen Dungeons and Dragons. And then January, we start Read a Latte Bingo. It's sponsored by Backroads Coffee. It's just a friendly competition to get people reading. Gave you our statistics here. I included our November numbers. They're pretty much a little bit ahead of last year. For this year, I also provided our adult and juvenile and YA, that's the young adult. And you can see that the juvenile and young adult are a little bit over half in general of our adults. So we do have a lot of children's books being checked out. The other thing we have is our Libby statistics, which pretty much seems to be on par for last year also. And Libby is where you can not pay for books and you get it via e-reader or any kind of device, and you can listen and read to it online. And then I gave you our patron counts. And you might wonder what goes on between November and December is we purge any accounts that are inactive for about 2 to 3 years. And we did a big purge between 22 and 23, but they have built up. You can see that we've increased the numbers, and you'll see again, we'll have another purge in December again. You'll see that. Just the natural attrition in terms of a lot of them tend to be college students that move away. So during those 4 years, you tend not to get them back. Any questions on this? No? The next page, what I've given you is a calculation of savings to residents. I've broken down what we have and then what the standard cost for an item is. And you can see that our residents, by having the library, they save almost $2 million that they can put out and go to restaurants or do what they have or put in their savings, and they have more monies to spend in the area. So you can see that the ROI for the library, you know, it's a win-win. And this, it doesn't even include any Wi-Fi or computer usage. And then I did not include the 3D objects. I've got to break that down a lot. A lot of that is like our hotspots, our STEM kits, our stamps, cake pans, and I couldn't put a standard item because you're talking $5 to maybe $150. So I'll have to break that down further later. Any questions on the pricing? No? Then I just gave you a few pictures. We had 2 great events. It was a T-Rex tea. We had over 44 children there. Sorry about that. Some of the dinosaurs were a little aggressive. I didn't expect them to be. We had someone on a young adult in there, and he got pretty aggressive. We had dinosaurs, people and dinosaurs, and a few young children got upset, but sorry, but a lot of kids really liked them. We had a lot of kids posing with them. We had a little craft where they made the dinosaur skeletons. And the big takeaway out of that is the kids would say, boy, were the dinosaurs bad. I don't want to be that bad. So it was our first year. Go on, Stacy.
I was just gonna say my grandkids are still talking about the naughty dinosaurs at the library. So
Oh,
I hope you get them back to the library, but
they have been back. Oh, the dinosaurs might be come back next year, but they have to be on a little bit tighter leash. So, but it was a fun event. And then we had the Dear Santa, where children learned how to write letters, and they received letters back from Santa, hopefully this week. We also asked for food donations that went to the food shelf with that. So, anything else? We tried. I think the learning was that they saw that extreme of bad manners. So I tried, and I also work with a group called KITS. I'm trying to remember it's sorry, Kids Interactive Tool for Success. They're two local moms, and they're helping me out with these programs, ideas that younger parents want, and it seems to be popular, and we just teach them our manners, I guess, on that part. Oh, and that was mainly the focus, that you need to, serve other people first, not you. You need to be neat in eating, wait for people to sit down. We had make sure everyone has a seat before you sit down and start eating, things like that. These are to little kids. You're talking most of them are 4 to 8 years old. Yeah. All right. Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Good morning. Even though it's been our off season in between the two sports, we've been really busy. One of our club members, North Country Rider club members, Michelle Richardson, has worked with Billy Joe Sabin from Anglers, and they were instrumental in getting the Light Your Engines Parade up and going again. I think it was just a fun time. It was successful. A lot of people attended. Looking forward to it next year. The Alliance recently purchased 2 new pieces of grooming equipment to the tune of $300,000 each. So we've been doing a lot of fundraising. We had a firearms raffle, which wrapped up in October. We made about $28,000 for that. And then we had our annual holiday gala at the Vet Center recently. I think we brought in about $9,000 profit from that event as well. So the clubs are also working on fundraising. We have 2 clubs currently building new grooming sheds, which house the Alliance grooming equipment throughout the county. And another club is kind of revitalizing their older sheds. So all these things cost a lot of money, and they're actively fundraising. The only other thing I really have to report on is through the NORTAC committee, we recently launched our snowmobile and ATV user survey. It's going to be a long-running survey, at least a year. If we don't get a good snowmobile season this year, we'll run it into probably April of 2025. It's designed to be taken every time a rider rides. That way we can collect the most accurate data. Instead of asking people what they spent for the last several rides, we think it's going to be more accurate if they take a 2-minute survey and just say, hey, yeah, I used, $50 in gas. And we just think the data will be more accurate. So I've been passing out posters to area businesses. I have a lot more to go, but I just am excited to get that, and hopefully we'll be able to develop an economic impact report for motorized sports for each of the counties that are participating, plus the whole Northwest region of the state as a whole. That's it. Oh, I wish you wouldn't have asked me that. Because we sell our older groomers. I want to say close to 10 groomers. I'm not 100% sure. I try not to delve into that, or I'll be busier than I am. But I think we have approximately 10 groomers throughout the county. We have such a large landmass here. It's the trail system is actually quite difficult to keep groomed, especially because we have, almost 7% of the landmass is lakes. So you can't run a groomer across the lake. The trails go up to lakes, to turn around and go back, go around. So it's a lot of work, and it's all done by volunteers. Well, it's a combination of money that we earn through the contracts, through the maintenance contracts, through the DNR. We get like $300 per mile of snowmobile trail, as an example. We have to earn that money when it's groomed, and then we get paid. If we do manual labor like brushing and working on the trails, I think each of our volunteers can claim, I think it's $9 an hour. So we're very underpaid, but that comes off the contract money that we're awarded every year, and we earn that money. We use that money for our operating expenses to buy gas and oil for all the equipment, the maintenance of the equipment, our insurance. There's a lot of expense that goes into it. And that's why we do a lot of fundraising. Every single one of them are volunteers. Nobody within our county is paid.
That is that fundraising all? Those are big numbers, and my hat's off to you. That's not easy to do, and that's very impressive. Is it all Sawyer County? Or
It's all of Sawyer County. So each of the clubs participates, or they do their own fundraising, but the Alliance, we have a fundraising committee made up of Steve Bethke, Darlene Mella from Beachmore, and Jane Schrader from Hayward Power Sports. And those three people are just a powerhouse.
I mean, that money is coming. I mean, that's a Sawyer County grassroots.
It is. I mean, we have some outside contributors, Coca-Cola, Enbridge. I can't possibly mention all of them. Medford Oil, which is one of the contractors we use to purchase gas and oil from. So we get a lot of outside donations. We just started the process to change, and I'm not up on all this. This is not my territory, but our classification through the IRS so that tax deductions can be donations can be totally tax deductible because we've had a lot of people that want to give us some bigger amounts, but it's currently not tax deductible. So we're just going through that process, changed our bylaws to accommodate what the IRS requires. We're excited about that.
That's impressive. Do you think the corporation donations are any idea what percentage? Half? Third?
No, that would be more of a question for our fundraising committee. I mean, I keep involved with it to the point where they tell me, and then it just like goes right out this year. But I have a general sense of what is being donated. I mean, Ski-Doo also donates. You're talking a couple thousand each donation. Okay. Sometimes more, sometimes a little less, but it's consistent through the year every time we have an event.
Well, if you can get those corporate sponsors, that's fantastic. So good work.
Yeah, it's good. Any other questions? All right, thank you.
The Turkey Burkey on Thanksgiving. They make snow every night. This is kind of the only snow they've got here in the Midwest. Let's see, they have a big race coming up on this weekend. Again, it's all on man-made snow. The man-made snow is pretty resistant to the warm weather because there's so much moisture in it. But they make it every these cold nights. They really pile on the snow. And the Nordic Kids program will be starting right after the first of the year. And the Lumberjack dates have been set now for August 1st through the 3rd. So we're looking for snow. Okay, let's move on then to the next item, the update for the broadband, Andy.
Not much new in the last month. The applications that were applied for back in early November are being reviewed by the PSC. And outside of that, we're getting updates from the PSC on the BEAD funds that'll become available next year. They're distributing their final rules and looking for public input on those. But that's about the only activity in that area.
Good. Okay, thank you. LCO update. Chris, you want to just give a brief couple of sentences?
Yeah, all the precast walls are in place. They've started on all the steel structure, the ceilings and the walls on the interior. They're starting to put glass panels over the atrium in the lobby areas, and everything's on schedule?
Are you talking about the clinic?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just, if you start
Oh.
with that, that'd be great.
Well, I thought that was what the update was for.
Who's the contractor? Is that?
That's Woodstone. Woodstone Inc. out of Bloomington, I believe. They've been here with us for like 5 years. They've done our last 4 tax credit projects. What I do
They
out
go
there.
right through the winter. They,
Yeah, right through the winter. They're having issues. The only issue they've got over there is with getting Excel tied in. They still ain't got power. Everything they're doing is with a generator.
good to hear. Okay, let's move on then to Historical Society. Mr. Ferguson here? Oh, yeah,
So I could be here all day talking.
there he is. Good morning. What's going on at the Historical Society?
Well, this is our slow time of year. We're officially closed November and December. Although one of our volunteers, Hazel Johnjack, does go in and open several Thursdays. She likes to go in. Our hours are, in the winter, are Thursdays just from 10 to 2. Starting in January, we'll be officially opened again. We do have our logging sled out in front of the museum. I don't think the logs are on it yet. We're waiting. We have someone that's donating the logs and their time to put them on there, so we're just waiting for them. Our next speaker will be in Thursday, January 25th at the library at 7 p.m. And it will be Patricia Lacey, a local author, talking about her book, Hayward and Sawyer County, Historic Hayward and Sawyer County Sketches. Very good book. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but parts of it, each chapter is about something different. It's got about what was here in the beginning before anyone was here. It's got about the coming of the Ojibwa. It's got, of course, about the gangsters, Capone's hideout, and a chapter about Ernie Swift and some other forest rangers and their encounters with Joe Saltis and the other gangsters up here. So and there's quite a bit in it and about the resort era. So she'll be talking about her book. So it's Thursday, January 25th at the library at 7 p.m. We don't have our April speaker yet, so we're not sure what we'll do then. Other than that, like I said, this is our slow time of year. Yeah.
If you put a ornament at the Hayward Funeral Home, all
Oh.
donations for the ornament go to the Historical Society.
Yeah, I'm headed there next because I haven't taken mine in yet. So I guess they make a donation for every ornament that's put on the tree. So I'm
How
on,
often do you have speakers? Once a month or
pardon?
how often do you have speakers?
Every 3 months,
Every 3 months?
quarterly.
Okay.
Next one is January, April, July, and November, I think it is. So most of the time at the library. Our last one, although was at the vet center because we were expecting a very large crowd for Famous Dave, although it turned out at the end he couldn't make it, so we had his son, Infamous James, who spoke, and he was very good. And everyone there got a copy of Famous Dave's cookbook that sells for $25. So there must have been 50 people there. So it was quite a gift.
Quite a donation, sure. Okay, any questions in the bunch? Good. All right, thank you for coming.
Okay.
Okay, let's go on. Any future agenda items we should talk about? Andy?
Yeah, I just wanted to have a part question, part another agenda item. Adam, is the annual meeting Thursday is open to anybody, or is it just the board and sponsors, or just the board? Okay. So at the annual meeting for the EDC on Thursday, there's going to be a presentation of the economics, demographics study of the county as well as the housing study. That was put together by UW local extension staff and UW Madison staff. So we're planning to have those two items on our future agenda, maybe in January if they're available, to be presented to this committee.
Good. The nursery, anything new with the nursery problem? No.
Nope, the nursery is going to be continuing as the nursery for their
What
seed
is it,
production.
operating, or what are they
Yeah,
doing?
they're converting that from, it used to be seedling production and now it's moving into seed production.
Huh.
So they're consolidating other seed production operations in the state to the Hayward facility.
How many employees do they have down there?
2 or 3, 2. Yeah.
Where they live?
I don't know. There's 2 there, and then there's a private business that they're partnering with that has the facility there as well.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? Okay, thank you all for coming. See you next month, next month before.